Welcome and welcome back to this channel. I'm gonna be drawing with pencil today. This time I will use this gray paper called toned gray for the first time. Before I basically drew on white paper, so I just used the black pencil. But since this paper is gray, I need to not only use a black pencil but also white pencil. It's gonna be a challenge to me this time. Let's get started. Today's theme is salary negotiation. These days, many people say you live to 100 years, which means you sometimes have to change jobs. And every time you change jobs, you need to negotiate salary. And the result hugely affects your life. Given that, I wish I had studied negotiation skill earlier. Since today's theme is just salary negotiation, first let me give you 3 important things you need to know. First, the more options you have, the better. The second, the more time you have, the better. And the third is a little bit specific to price negotiation. Don't make opening offer. Every time you negotiate your salary, remember these 3 rules. Firstly, let's look at it from the company's side. They want to hire new employees at a cheaper salary. On the other hand, applicants want a higher salary. With these 2 perspectives in mind, let's look at the situation step by step. You finish the final job interview. After that, the company might email you saying that in the next meeting let's agree on salary and when you start working for us. This is not unusual, quite normal. At this moment, what you should never do is to say to your boss that you're gonna quit and have to decide when you can work for the next company. Don't do this before you and the next company agree on the terms and conditions, because this action will only leave you one option, which is you quit the company. If you want to have an advantage in the negotiation, you need to at least have multiple options. Remember the first and second rules. In this case, you lose one option that you can stay in your current company. And at the same time you made the deadline by yourself. Anyway, you need to keep the option to stay in your current company in case the salary negotiation breaks down. However, the company doesn't want that. I mean the next company. They want you to say to your boss that you would quit, which would leave you only one option. In this case, you have to accept the next company's offer even though the salary isn't satisfying enough. Anyway, don't tell your boss that you're gonna leave before agreeing on the conditions and salary with the next company. Then, finally, the next company and you move to the salary negotiation phase. Salary is important because it affects the quality of your life, even though it's not all. If you could know how much money the next company could offer you in the first job interview, you wouldn't end up spending so much time on job interviews. So it's much better to bring it up in the early stage of job interviews. However, many job applicants hesitate to bring it up. There are 3 reasons. There are some cultures in the world that people don't want to talk about money. This is the first reason. And the second, some people will wonder that if they hadn't passed the job interviews, they should talk about money. And the third, salary is based on his own evaluation, so that's why he or she doesn't want to talk about his own evaluation. I guess these are the 3 main reasons why people don't want to talk about it, especially in the first job interview. But there's a way to avoid it. Maybe during the first interview, you talked about what the position requires you to do, work environment, and what kind of people you are going to work with. Of course, at the same time, the interviewer will ask you about your experience, about your skill, and what you want to do in the future. Then you can ask this way about your salary. Okay, I understand what kind of person your company is looking for. By the way, I have a question. How much are you willing to pay for the person who can meet this position? Do you see the point? Do you see the difference? This question isn't about you. This is about the position. You and the interviewer is discussing how to find the right person for the position. A good thing about this question is it also implies that you haven't decided yet. With this question, you can confirm the salary you can expect from the company. However, if the interviewer is a shrewd person, there's a possibility that he can reply this way. By the way, how much do you want? Do you remember the third rule, which is don't make opening offer? The interviewer tries to avoid making opening offer by asking your expected salary. If you answer to this question, it's gonna be his baseline. From this point, every negotiation will be based on this price, whether it's expensive or not. So let me repeat this. Don't make opening offer. The answer I recommend in this case is salary isn't that important. The most important thing is the balance among colleagues, and also salary level is different depending on industry. So let me know how much this company is willing to pay for this position. With this answer, the interviewer can't ask you anymore. This way, your salary negotiation will go well. Let me summarize the 3 important points. First, don't say to your boss that you're gonna quit before agreeing on conditions and salary with your next company. Second, you want to confirm how much the next company can pay for you by asking, how much is this company willing to pay for this position? And the third and the most important thing is, don't make opening offer. Keeping these 3 things in mind gonna make your job change much better. If you like it, just try it from your next job change. Well, it's almost done. Like I said, I used this paper called Tongrei for the first time. As for white paper, I only use black pencil, and I just should pay attention to dark and light. However, this is gray. There's a clear border that I had to judge whether I should use black or white. That was harder than expected. Someday, I want to use pencil drawings, which is very hard to judge whether it's written in pencil or it's just a photo. In order to reach that level, I haven't spent enough time. I must be exploring more. That's all. If you like, let's enjoy drawing together. See you next time.